What you think upon grows. Whatever you allow to occupy your mind, you magnify in your life. Whether the subject of your thought be good or bad, the law works and the condition grows. Any subject that you keep out of your mind tends to diminish in your life because what you do not use atrophies. The more you think of grievances, the more such trials you will continue to receive. The more you think of the good fortune you have had, the more good fortune will come to you. So there we have it. So yeah, dear God, yo, hey boss man, where's my money? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And everybody, all of us, we all want to have more abundance. We want to have more flow. We want to have more money. We want to have more health. We want to have more community, more authenticity. We want abundance in all of its forms. Everybody does. And there are a lot of truths about abundance that come from a lot of different places. So I thought about how many of these do I know? And first of all, we've got the very famous New Age statement of truth: do what you love and the money will follow. I put that one to the test and came home broke from California. There are the biblical statements of truth. It is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Great, I'm right here. Give it to me. I'm ready. The I am statements of truth, which gets closer to us, right? That brings us closer to us. I am wealth. I am abundance. I am joy. Then there are the wealth affirmations of truth. I am surrounded by abundance. I am abundant in love, wealth, health, and happiness. I live in a state of perpetual prosperity. My cup runneth over with blessings. I'm a money magnet and attract wealth easily. All of those give me a bit of agita, to be honest, because they get excited in me, the parts of me that go, I don't see that in my bank. I don't see it. Now, what we want to look for when we're talking about abundance of anything is we want to, and I think you all know this already, is we want to look at what we can do to receive, what we can do to reduce our sense of resistance, to allowing it to be here and now. And that is because energetically it is here and it is now. That can get you pretty darn frustrated when you don't see the money in your bank or the improvement in your physical situation. But one of these phrases that I have no resistance to is, I live in an abundant universe, and there is more than enough for everyone. Now, I don't feel a sense of like, well, wait a minute, it's not an abundant universe. I go, yeah, it is. There are so many leaves on the trees. There's always food for the birds, and it's amazing. It's remarkable. But even with a phrase like that, that can make that you feel like, okay, I can kind of get with that. I don't feel resistant to it. A lot of these things don't tell us how to actualize the abundance in our lives. And for me, that is problematic. I want my spiritual path to be applicable. I want it to be actualized. I want to know what I have to do or what I have to feel. I want to know what's up, what's it all about, Alfie? And all of the things that I've said so far, all of those quotes, they're tantalizing to me, but they don't say how to apply the truths. Now, there have been some teachers, and I couldn't possibly take all of them, but I took a few of them. And there are a few teachers who started back in the, 30s, who started talking about something a little closer to ourselves, to who do we have to be, or what do we have to feel, or how do we need to think in order to unkink from the idea that we are separate from that which actually we are, because we actually are abundant. We actually are abundance. So the first one I chose was one of my all-time favorites, which is Joel S. Goldsmith. He was the founder of something he called the Infinite Way. And he was a writer, a speaker, a mystic, a healer, and generally a total badass, because the guy, he was fierce. For him, what he taught was that there is nothing in existence but God. And he insisted on living that and teaching that and praying that. If you read any of his stuff, it's very challenging, because he takes no prisoners. He says, if you believe that you really are sick, then you're going to stay sick. You have to believe there's only God. So he's very challenging. Here's his quote that I found. Man is always seeking a power to overcome something or destroy something. And therefore, he is not living in the awareness of God. Because in the realization of the presence of God, there is no need to overcome, to destroy, or to do anything. I invite you to be aware, if you aren't already, of where the places are in you, the voices, the feelings, the knee-jerk sort of reaction that you have to something that is that on point. Then, of course, there's Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of religious science. The name changed to Science of Mind, but Ernest, I found 3 quotes, and 2 of them actually move forward in time and match up with more current teachers. So it's fascinating to watch how the truths that were at least shared with us from, say, the 30s on, that started with let's just state the truth over and over again, are developed into something different. They started to develop into, how do I receive the abundance that I want and that I am? So here are a few quotes. Abundance is mine. I cannot be deprived of my supply. The trees do not leaves, nor do the flowers fail to bloom. Okay, I can get behind that one. The second one, we must be convinced that abundance is the natural state of the universe. To experience and accept abundance in our life, we must be convinced that as we conceive and believe, the universe handles the details. Now that one, handling of the details, that is a really important point to letting things be easier, letting abundance flow instead of being in this constant battle of trying to make it happen, feeling that if we don't worry enough, we won't get it enough. And here's the third one. Thoughts of lack manifest as limitation. Thoughts of abundance manifest as success and happiness. Failure and success are but 2 ends of the same stick. And that 2 ends of the same stick, that moves forward in time to more current teachers. And those 2 teachers are Mike Dooley and Abraham Hicks. So Mike Dooley challenges us. He's, in his own way, a little bit, he's just as fierce as Joel Goldsmith, but his message is so much kinder. It's like, practice feeling good, because that energy is almost nuclearly more powerful than the negative. 5 minutes of visioning a night will get rid of all the rest of the worry and everything else you did during the day. That's interesting. It's all energy based. So he says, to begin living like you've never lived before. Begin living like you've never lived before. And you have to wonder about that, don't you? You have to think, okay, let's see. If I want a boat, if I'm not going to be grounded about what I really need, and I just want something major, I just want a boat, I'm just going to have to go out and charge a boat to my credit card. No, that's not what it means. So what does it mean? It's all about emotion. It's all about feeling. It's all about allowing that delicious feeling of whatever kind of abundance it is that you want to flow through you. So it means practicing something that our culture doesn't generally like to talk about. Our culture narrows joy to very small areas, like purchasing something, or lust. Lust seems to be acceptable. Things like that. And falling in love, acceptable. But when it comes to really feeling and being free of the idea that you have to suffer your way forward, that's not something that that our society thinks drives a lot of bottom line. And there is a sort of setup of fear about, well, we can't let you be too happy because then we can't sell you with our fear-based marketing. Not knowing that there is an entire world of joy-based marketing and joy-based living and joy-based flow that is available to us. So the question is, how do we get there? How do we do this? How do we feel this and how do we allow it? Mike, by the way, has a ton of little like 10-minute question and answer things that he did on Facebook, especially during COVID. So if you go to Facebook, you can spend all night watching Mike Dooley stuff, and it's really awesome. And Abraham Hicks, that relates back to, let's see. Oh, I wanted to tell you, Ernest Holmes, when he said the part about, we must be convinced that as we conceive and believe, the universe handles the details. Mike Dooley talks about staying out of the cursed hows. I can't tell you how many times I've said and I've heard, oh, well, I would want to go on a vacation, but I don't have the money. I can't even begin to think about it. Really? Let the universe handle the details. Because I also can't tell you how many times I've walked into a situation not knowing how I'm going to meet it, and I have met it. That's exactly what I had to do when I had absolutely no money and no home. And I'm telling you that it works. It's just damn astonishing is what it is, or at least it was to me, and continues to be. The other thing that Ernest said about failure and success being two ends of the same stick is, interestingly, exactly what Abraham talks about. So if we have lack on one end of a stick and we have abundance on another end of the stick, what's right in the middle of the stick? Well, what's right in the middle of the stick is law of attraction. Law of attraction doesn't care what the energy is that you're putting your focus on, because you have free will. You can focus on whatever you want to focus on. And law of attraction is there to aid you in whatever you choose. Now, it's hard to say that it's a choice if we're doing things and we're not really conscious that there's a choice to be made. But nonetheless, this is how it seems to work. So Abraham has a couple of quotes here I want to read to you. When people ask us, how long does it take for something to manifest? We say it takes as long as it takes you to release the resistance. Could be 30 years, could be 40 years, could be 50 years, could be a week, could be tomorrow afternoon. Interesting. Then the other quote is, if something you want is slow to come to you, it can be for only one reason. You're spending more time focused on its absence than you are about its presence. Okay, well, that's cool and groovy. We still have the question, God, where's my money? Right? We still want to know, where the heck is my money? The money is here in an energetic form. Now, there's a part of me that when I hear myself say that, I get frustrated, because that's nice. How do I get it out of that form and into my life? Well, we have to actually align. We have to find an emotional way to align with that particular thing that we're looking for. I'm working on this myself right now. I've got my knees decided to just go, 2 days ago. I'm like, thanks very much. I appreciate that. So what do I do in order to get an abundance of health in my body? Well, one end of the stick is my knees hurt, my back hurts. I'm feeling like I'm 80 years old and I'm not, and this is not good. I don't want this. So if I keep focusing on that, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep having pain. It's just not going to get better. Or if it does, it's going to be after a long trip with doctors and everything else. So no, thank you. Now, what's the other end of the stick? Right? What's the other end of the stick? And how do I practice it? How do I align with what I want? So one of the things that I do visualize, and when I say, or vision, and when I say vision, you're in your body, you're not looking at yourself from behind or in front or the sides, you're doing it. And I always picture myself, and it always makes me laugh, running up and down the steps of my apartment building and going, woo, at the top. I'm like, yeah, I'm jumping up and down. And interestingly, whenever I vision that and I stand up, my knees feel stronger. The thing about abundance is we are it. So we have to find a way that resonates with us to practice it. Mike Dooley changed his life completely by doing visioning. Completely changed his life. I'll tell you one quick story and then I'll close it out because we're running a little late here. But the story is that he was very, very broke. And he went and got some kind of a degree or whatever, and he became a real financial guy. And he was working at one of the, I guess they're called the big three, but he hated his job. He was just really hating his job. And so he came across the visioning stuff, and he knew he wanted to be like teaching this stuff, but he was nowhere near it, right? He was in a corporate job. He was nowhere near any of this stuff, but he knew that's what he wanted to do. And he also knew he hated his job. So he started visioning that he was walking down the hallway of his business, of that business, Price Waterhouse, I think it was. And in his visioning, he's going, woo, I feel so great. Because he didn't know what he wanted. He didn't know how to get to where he wanted to go. And he just wanted to feel good. He wanted to let the universe take care of the cursed hows so that he didn't have to go making plans and all that stuff. Next thing he knows, he was transferred from the place he was in to a different department in tax. And the tax department was known to be the most horrific place at Price Waterhouse. So you might think, oh, well, dang, that didn't work. Complete opposite. He shows up there and they're like, Mike, we want you to go around the world giving talks about different financial stuff. And so he got to go around the world. He got to hone his speaking skills. And from there, it just unfolded. So that's the way abundance works. You have to be willing to let yourself feel something better. You have to be willing to keep your mind open, not decide that this moment right here is the determination of whether it's working or not. Start looking for clues, be a little Sherlock Holmesy. And you're going to have a lot more fun with your life too. That's been my experience, at least.
We thank the creator of all that is for a wonderful, enlightened meeting tonight, and to share with everyone here. And we're eternally grateful for our meetings every Sunday. Thank you.